everybody doing today? Today's PLC is a result of a needs assessment that I sent out earlier this year about professional development. And what came up on this needs assessment survey was several different things, but the number one thing that came up was that teachers wanted to know about personalized learning. And it's a topic that's very near and dear to me. It's something that I've been doing for the past several years in my own classroom, both in 5th and in 6th grade. And I felt it was something that I wanted to share with everybody. It is a topic that I could do in a large scale professional development, but because it is personalized, I thought that it would be more appropriate if I did it in a PLC format. So that's why I brought it into a smaller group. So today, for our 50 minutes together, we're going to learn how to personalize learning to engage your students. So I hope that you enjoy it. But as we start any PLC, we always start with our norms. And as you know, at Laguna Road, we have some very specific norms for our PLCs. And we'll just go over them real quick because we run through them every single time. And it's to be encouraging, to be fun and positive, to be respectful, no monopolizing conversations, to be helpful within your group, no side conversations, we always politely disagree, to be courteous and to listen, to be focused and to stay on topic, to be professional, and to always begin and end on time. And because we have 50 minutes together, we need to stay true to that. And then, because we all are adult learners, one of the things that I wanted to focus on too is that sometimes when we do professional learning and especially when we go to district workshops and things like that, one of the things that I know is that I'm a doodler, I'm a side conversation type person, and I hate to admit that, but I am. But one of the things that I wanted to be mindful today when I did start to develop this PD was that I wanted to make sure that it was practical for you guys. I wanted to make sure that it was goal-oriented. I wanted to also make sure that it was self-paced. Professional learning, it's something, or personalized learning, it's something that I've been working with for the past several years. It's not something that you're going to be able to dive in and say, okay, this is something that I'm going to, get all of a sudden and be able to do it, and it's going to be great, and every single student is going to have a personalized learning path. No, it's something that you're going to have to work up to. And so I don't want you to be too hard on yourself thinking, oh, I'm not going to be able to get this, I'm not going to be able to do it right away. It's baby steps, baby steps. But a lot of it is based on your life experience, you as a learner. How did you, what was important to you as a learner? What kind of prior experience do you bring into a situation? How can you transfer that to your students? And then with anything, personalized learning, both for adults and for students, is learning by doing. So today's essential question is, and what I hope you walk away with is, what opportunities can I give my students to deepen their learning? And then our objectives, what I want to be able to show you today is to review a personalized learning model that allows students to make discoveries and to process new skills in an engaging way, and then to provide you, my teachers and my friends, with a customized tool that you can give your students that gives them opportunities to personalize their learning with choices on the types of assignments that they do that can show their mastery based on the grade level that you're in. So what is personalized learning? And so I want you to take a minute and I want you to just talk to the people at the table and what's personalized learning to you?
Okay, so personalized learning to me is that students are...
Alright, so personalized learning based on research, this is what personalized learning is. It's flexible, it can happen anytime and anywhere. It kind of redefines our role as a teacher. It kind of expands our role. It kind of goes from where we're standing in front of the classroom and lecturing to where we're kind of off to the side and it's more student-centered. where they kind of dictate and kind of control their learning. It's project-based learning. It's authentic learning. They drive their path. They drive their pace. And then their mastery is based on competency, but that is just different for each student, and I'll show you why and how. And then again, personalized learning. Who can personalize learning? Who can participate in personalized learning? Any student. What is it? They learn academic knowledge as well as life and work skills. Where? Anytime, any place, school, home, community, in virtual environments. When? Again, anytime. And how? They use a lot of different methods, and I've done it a lot of different ways, both with gamification, technology, project-based learning, just a lot of different ways. And here's one of my favorite videos that I wanted to share with you. It's Mark Zuckerberg, and he talks about the impact of personalized learning. It's about a 3-minute video, and I just wanted to share it with you.
These things I actually think, no one will be able to do them by themselves. But go back to the education question for a second. There's this new trend towards more personalized learning. Right? So now that we have the internet and different tools to learn, some kids learn better by watching videos. Some learn better by reading. Some learn better by practice problems. Some learn better by collaborating with other people or working independently. Having the ability to learn using the method that matters the most to you is going to help every child get ahead. Right? Being able to focus more time on the things that are challenging and fun for you will help you get ahead. Right? So some concepts you might just get immediately, and others might be hard. But in today's education system, you kind of need to spend the same amount of time on everything. So making it so that the education can be personalized for each person is going to be a big difference. And there are already some early studies put out by the Gates Foundation that show that even for the first set of personalized learning schools that are out there, and there's probably dozens today, but not hundreds or thousands, the outcomes can be as much as 50% better a year, right? Which means that if you do 50% better 12 years in a row, then that's actually 100 times better in terms of compounding. So, if we can help do our part to make sure that these kind of new tools for teachers to do an even better job of what they love and care about every day and come into work to do, and empower students to learn what they care about, then I don't see why we wouldn't be able to get to a world by the time that our children grow up where people can learn and experience 100 times more things.
And as you can see, Mark Zuckerberg is a huge proponent of personalized learning, so is Bill and Melinda Gates. In fact, Bill and Melinda Gates, they are in a lot of schools right now, funding a lot of schools specifically for personalized learning because they are such big proponents on students learning in their own way, whether they're kinesthetic learners, visual learners, depending on the types of learning, they feel that students should be able to learn the ways that they want to learn. But just to dig deeper a little bit, I did some personal research within my own classroom, and I asked the kids some questions by giving them a survey based on personalized learning. And I wanted to see, how long they'd been here at Laguna Road. And so I asked those questions. I also asked them if they felt successful at school. And for the most part that they did, about 60% either agreed or strongly agreed that they felt successful at school. An overwhelming number, 80%, felt that they were challenged at school, agree or strongly agree. But what I found interesting was that they really couldn't tell, the number wasn't huge, that they could tell other people what they were able to do at school. So that told me that maybe they weren't really interested in what they were doing at school. Maybe that they didn't feel connected to what they were doing at school. And so that to me tells me that we need to bring in more of a personalized component. And so then I also asked them, Are you being given opportunities to participate in activities that help you to apply skills that you have learned in the classroom to real life situations? And about 54% say that they are. Well, to me, that's not enough. I think we need to have more students that say that they can take what they learn in the classroom and take it outside. And then I also asked, are you given opportunities to revise and redo your work to prove and show mastery, which is a huge component of personalized learning? And luckily my students do say that almost, you see 47% and 37% say they agree or strongly agree that they're able to redo their work to show mastery. And that's a huge component of personalized learning, because students should always feel successful in their learning. And then here's a big question. To show, how do they prefer to show that they've mastered that they've learned the standard? And you can see 40%, so less than half, want to take a test, but more than 60% want to show in another way that they've mastered a standard. They either want to do a special project, they want to do a multimedia presentation, they want to do some sort of presentation, but they don't want to write a report, and they don't want to take a test. They want to do something else. And that's personalized learning, because they're all different types of learners, and they want to show their strengths in different ways. So where does personalized learning start? It starts with you, the teacher. Personalized learning is all about giving students a choice and a voice. And the first thing that you need to do is you need to know your students. You need to know how they learn, where they learn, the pace of their learning, and you need to know how that student shows mastery. Personalized learning is a lot of different things. It can be teacher-led, it can be online learning, it can be small group, it can be independent, but that comes from knowing your student. I participated in a focus group that the district did about students that have been participating in focused or in personalized learning for the past several years, and I just wanted to share just a little snippet of this focus group and about what students were saying about personalized learning.
You know what we're learning? What the school could be like. You. You're the expert. Who's the expert on your life? You. Who's the expert on your life? And can someone describe an experience where they had an opportunity to move ahead?
I can move forward and get a little bit better understanding of what I learned before, but I was moving forward and not having to wait for my class, because sometimes some people, like, if their learning styles go a little bit slower. I've heard, like, complaints from other people in other classes, like, oh, you're so lucky that you guys get to go at your own pace, because I am stuck on this one thing because one student in my class can't focus or something like that.
Where you felt like what you created or did made a difference, and then with whom did it make a difference? Yourself to be included in this.
I told the story with different versions of the language. I talked to people and it was good there to share, and I felt like that made me more confident.
And I asked the teacher, can I? And I got up there, I wrote a problem, explained it to them, and a lot of kids were like, oh, okay. And
So you got a chance to teach then.
well, when I got up there, I wasn't really nervous. I see these people almost every day. After, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
So the video actually goes on for a couple of more minutes, but you can see where the students feel like they're more confident because they have a voice and they've had a choice in how they want to learn. And they can, and as the first young lady spoke, she's able to go at her own pace. She's not having to sit and wait for other students in the class to master. She's able to go at her own pace, to move ahead, and to work at a level that she's comfortable with. And it says, how can you help your students to determine their learning roadmap? Well, here at Laguna Road, we have a personalized learning model that we like to use. And it's a 5-step model that I've been working with for the past couple of years. And it starts with instruction. We still feel that it's important that we do a snippet of whole group instruction, where we stand in front of the classroom and we kind of give an overview, and we do the objective, and we give the class an overview of what we're learning for the day. But we also give students options of how to get more information as well, whether it's through internet research, or whether it's through reading, or whether it's coming back and doing small group with the teacher. And they choose how they want to get that information. And then they do some what we call INK work, which is introducing new knowledge. And they start to, we model how we expect that learning to happen. And then they do some work to demonstrate that. And the teacher's kind of observing and interacting with the students. And then they take a formative assessment, where it says here it says quiz. A formative assessment, not a summative assessment, but a formative assessment where we can kind of say, oh, they get it or they don't. And then if they're not getting it, if they're not quite getting it, we reteach. We reteach, and we give them other options to reteach. So that's where you see the non-mastery. But if they actually master, we push them forward and we have them what we call deepening in practice. And that means that's where they get their choice and their voice on being able to show how they've mastered their the standard. And that's the exciting part of personalized learning that I want to share with you. And I've got a little bit more in detail here about the different steps, step 1, step 2, where, and I'm going to go into some detail about step 1, which is we start everything with a learning goal, and the students kind of rate themselves of how much they know before they even start, and then where they end so that we can reflect. Then we engage them, introducing new knowledge, and then student assessment, which is what I talked about, the formative assessment. But I wanted to spend a little time talking about this, and in the packets that I gave you when we first started, and I'm going to give you another sheet right here, is our learning goal reflection form that we start every single lesson with, that we make sure the students know the standards that we are teaching for the week, and they all write it down, and they have to self-assess. They have to say, what do I know about the standard? And they rate themselves a 1, 2, 3, or 4. A 1 meaning they don't know anything about it. They've never heard it, they don't understand it, they don't know anything. A 2 meaning that they may know some of the vocabulary that we're discussing, they may have heard it before, but they're still not quite confident yet with that standard. A 3 is they pretty well have it, they're proficient. They really don't need, they're ready to take that test. They don't need any more teaching on it. And a 4 is they could be the teacher. They could teach everybody else in the class. Not too many kids rate themselves a 4. Some of them will rate themselves a 3. And we let them see it. I let them prove it to us. If they're a 3 and they're ready to move on, we let them move on, because that's all about personalized learning. And so, again, so the beginning level and then the ending level. And then at the end of every single lesson, we have them reflect. Self-reflection is so incredibly important, because they need to show where they glow. We call it glowing, where they say, what did I do great? How did I learn that standard? What did I do well? And where do I still need to grow? What do I need to do to improve? And so that's called glowing and growing. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about personalizing student assessments. And I wanted to just talk about a little bit of research here. Personalizing assessments can be a PLC, a PD, all in and of itself, because it's such an extensive topic and it's such a hot topic right now. Summative assessments are still very customary in personalized learning model, and a lot of it has to do with because we have those standardized tests at the end of the year. And we still need to do some sort of formalized assessments. But many educators that are believers in personalized learning want to kind of take away the importance of the assessment and kind of want to focus more on a formative assessment and the students kind of picking what type of assessment so that it helps us drive our instruction. And we've found, or research has found, that it drives and leads to better student outcomes, and it drives better instruction. And so, and formative assessments are really easy to personalize. Summative assessments aren't. Formative assessments are. And so one of the things that we're gonna do after this PLC, and you'll see later on at the end of my PLC what I have planned for you guys, is that we're going to talk about personalizing formative assessments and different ways that you can do that. But we still have those summative assessments that we have to do. We have to have grades in the grade book. This is what I wanted to share with you. This is the deepening in practice. This is the fun part. This is the customizing. This is where you give the students their choice and their voice. This is something that was developed. I can't take full credit for it, but this is where we give the students their choice based on the type of learner they are. So this is a student choice menu, and based on the standard, you give them a way in which they can demonstrate mastery. So if they're writers, they can do written, we call it written artistry. They can do a sketch note. They can do a slide deck. They can do a photo collage. They can do comic strips. If they're into cinematography, they can do a movie. They can do a screencast. They can do a video interaction. If they like to broadcast, they can do a blog, a vlog, a podcast. So this gives them a choice of how they can demonstrate mastery of the standards. And so we give this to them. We give them, for instance, if we're teaching something about ancient civilization, we'll give them a topic and we'll say, you tell us how you're going to, we'll give them a question, you tell us how you're going to answer this question, and you can do it in any of these avenues. And then we say go to it, and they show us their creativity. Okay, and we're almost at the end of our PLC, and I know that it's been a quick overview of personalized learning, but I want to tell you the next steps. The biggest thing is, I've been doing all the talking, but you guys need to see it in action. So the next steps for personalized learning and for you guys to be able to see it in action is that I want you guys to actually see it happening in the classroom. So I've already gotten it approved for you guys to have some subtime, so time out of your classroom so that you can actually go see research in action and see classroom observations. So you can actually see an upper grade class doing it and a lower grade class doing it so that you can see it in both avenues. And then after those classroom observations, we'll do a debriefing session. So you can ask questions of the teachers, and during those classroom observations, we'll have an opportunity to actually talk to the students as well to see what their experience with personalized learning is. And then we'll do another follow-up PLC after that, where you can ask questions, and then we will also discuss further personalization of activities, of formative assessments, and other things that you want to discuss about personalization. And now it's time for you guys to play. So you guys can talk about, we don't have much time left because we're almost at the end of our time, but you can go back and look at that student choice menu. All of those links are interactive. You can see, it tells the students exactly how to use those different tools. And if you want to play, you can play with those now. And I thank you guys for being great listeners. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me. And as with anything, anytime we do a PD, I'll send out a survey at the end, and then you guys can tell me what you think and how you want to expand it. Thanks for coming today.